Vietnam is a land of vibrant culture, stunning landscapes, and some of the cheapest living costs in Asia. But what's it really like to live here as a foreigner? Spoiler, it's not all faux and paradise. It can be a chaotic, frustrating ride. We're exposing the brutally honest truth about Vietnam from the eyes of expats and visitors. From life-changing perks to shocking challenges, this is the unfiltered guide you need. And if you're thinking of moving here, this might just save you years of frustration or make you reconsider completely. Stick around, hit that subscribe button, and let's uncover Vietnam's secrets. Everyday life that just doesn't make sense. Honking equals communication. In Vietnam, honking is not a sign of road rage or aggression. It's a language all its own. Drivers use their horns constantly, whether it's to signal they're overtaking, warn someone they're there, or just announce their presence. It's like saying, "Excuse me," with a horn. For Western expats, this can be overwhelming. Many come from cultures where honking is reserved for emergencies or anger. So when they're suddenly immersed in a sea of constant noise, it can feel like chaos. The mental fatigue builds fast, especially in big cities like Hanoi or Ho Chi Minh, where traffic flows like a never-ending river of motorbikes. Some expats wear earplugs just to make it through a walk outside. Others report feeling constantly on edge, mistaking the cacophony for hostility when it's just normal daily life in Vietnam. The sidewalks aren't for walking. In most countries, sidewalks are sacred space for pedestrians. Not in Vietnam. Sidewalks here are multipurpose, parking zones for scooters, temporary dining areas, spots for street food stalls, and even family living spaces in front of small homes or businesses. Walking down the street becomes a surreal dance. You're dodging sizzling grills, weaving through motorbikes driving on the sidewalk, and occasionally stepping off into traffic because there's literally no path. For older expats or those with mobility issues, this becomes not just annoying, but dangerous. Some try to adapt by walking early in the morning or choosing wide boulevards, but for most, it's a daily source of frustration and disbelief. And if you thought a stroller or wheelchair would make it easier, think again. Everything is loud, all the time. Vietnam is not a quiet country. From sunrise to long after midnight, the country buzzes, literally and figuratively. Whether it's karaoke at full blast in someone's living room, dogs barking nonstop, construction starting at dawn, or street vendors walking around with distorted megaphones selling sweet potatoes, the noise rarely stops. What shocks many foreigners is the casual acceptance of this volume level. For Vietnamese people, it's part of the soundtrack of life. For outsiders, it can be maddening, especially if you're working remotely, need sleep, or just value peace. Noise-canceling headphones become a survival tool. And if you happen to live near a karaoke-loving neighbor, good luck. The cultural love for communal music and celebration means your complaints might fall on deaf ears, literally and figuratively. Public napping is normal. Drivers sleep on motorbikes during breaks. Karaoke blasts at 100 decibels past midnight, even in quiet Hoi An. Communal dining means strangers sharing your table at pho stalls. These reflect Vietnam's relaxed, communal vibe. The fix? Embrace it, join karaoke, or smile at shared tables. Saving face culture can be misleading. One of the most deeply rooted cultural norms in Vietnam is saving face. Confrontation, blame, or public criticism are often avoided at all costs. Instead, people may nod, smile, or give vague agreements, even if they actually disagree or have no intention of following through. This creates major misunderstandings for expats, especially in business or personal relationships. A Vietnamese colleague might say yes out of politeness, not wanting to appear rude or uncooperative, but the task never gets done. Or a local friend may never tell you they were hurt or upset, allowing quiet resentment to grow. Many expats feel blindsided when things suddenly fall apart, not realizing they miss silent warning signs. Learning to read between the lines and develop cultural sensitivity is essential, but it takes time and mistakes are common. Last minute everything. If you're used to planning your week down to the hour, Vietnam will test your patience. Spontaneity rules here. Events are scheduled the day of. Meetings shift suddenly. People cancel or show up late without explanation. For many Vietnamese, this flexibility is practical. Plans adapt to real-time situations. But for expats used to structure, it can feel disrespectful or disorganized. One expat joked that planning in Vietnam is like booking a flight that may or may not take off, just be ready either way. This mindset extends to everything: school schedules, real estate viewings, even weddings. Some find it liberating over time, others feel they're constantly walking on quicksand. If you value certainty, this cultural difference may drive you up the wall unless you learn to let go and go with the flow. Food culture shock. Food sharing rules are different. Instead of individual plates, meals are often served in a shared format. Several dishes are placed in the middle of the table, and everyone helps themselves using chopsticks or spoons. For Westerners used to personal space, utensils, and hygiene standards, this can be an adjustment. There's often a sense of hesitation. Did they double dip? Or is this sanitary? What seems warm and inviting to locals can feel intrusive and awkward to new expats. It's a cultural barrier that takes time and open-mindedness to navigate. Fish sauce is in everything. Fish sauce, or nuoc mam, is the soul of Vietnamese cooking. It's pungent, salty, and fermented, and to an untrained nose, it can smell downright offensive. It's used in everything from soups to stir-fries, dipping sauces, marinades, and even desserts. Expats who aren't used to the taste can feel overwhelmed, especially when they bite into something sweet only to find that unmistakable fishy tang. Learning to enjoy or at least tolerate fish sauce becomes a rite of passage. Eating dogs still happens. Although the younger Vietnamese population is turning away from it, and the government is slowly cracking down, dog meat is still consumed in certain regions, especially in the north and in rural areas. The sight of a dog on a dinner menu or seeing them roasted at local markets can be deeply upsetting for animal-loving expats. It's a cultural practice rooted in tradition, but for many foreigners, it's a heartbreaking reminder of how different values can clash hard. Sitting on tiny plastic chairs. Vietnam's iconic street food scene often involves crouching on tiny plastic stools that look like they belong in a kindergarten classroom. For the locals, it's normal, part of everyday life. For tall, older, or less flexible expats, it's torture. Knees jammed up to their chest, back pain from the awkward posture, and a general sense of discomfort can turn what should be an enjoyable meal into a physical ordeal. Many joke that surviving the tiny chair test is a true Vietnam expat rite of passage. Social norms that baffle foreigners. Nosy, but not rude. Locals might ask, "How much do you earn? Why aren't you married?" It feels invasive, but isn't meant to be disrespectful. Public spitting and littering. Hygiene standards are improving, but spitting in public is still common. Expats find it shocking, especially coming from cleaner cities. Laughing at serious moments. Laughter can be a coping mechanism in Vietnam, even during accidents or arguments. Foreigners misinterpret this as mockery or insensitivity. Business and work culture was. No one says no directly. It's extremely rude in Vietnam to decline outright. You might hear yes, but they actually mean not really, or no, but I won't tell you that. Job titles matter a lot. Hierarchy is king. You need to show deference, even if someone's role seems minor. Expats who are too casual can come across as disrespectful. Paperwork nightmares. Visa rules, bank accounts, apartment leases. It's all a confusing, shifting maze. Add a language barrier, and it becomes a full-time job just to live. Dating is transactional for some. Some expats complain that relationships feel like financial arrangements. But the cultural context of gender roles, family expectations, and economic survival often gets missed. Family involvement in everything. Your partner's family might be involved in every decision. Marriage is often seen as marrying the whole clan, not just one person. Living in Vietnam isn't about comfort. It's about adaptation. The culture is rich, the people are warm, but that doesn't mean it's easy. Many expats come here chasing a cheaper life or tropical escape, but leave feeling burnt out, frustrated, or misunderstood. Not because Vietnam is bad, but because they didn't understand what they were walking into. Did any of these surprise you? If you've lived in Vietnam, what strange custom drove you crazy? Drop it in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with anyone planning to move to Vietnam.